能及时收到影片发布及直播通知。一起来学习怎么操作吧。第一步，下载 YouTube 应用，点开 Play 商店，苹果手机则是点开 App Store， 搜寻 YouTube。
什么？
点击安装。第二步，注册 YouTube 账号，进入 YouTube 应用，建立账户，建立个人账户，输入姓名、出生年月日、性别，自行建立 Gmail 地址，输入地址名称，输入并确认您的密码，按一下继续，输入电话号码，收到含有验证码的简讯后，使用该验证码验证您的手机号码，按一下验证。账号注册成功。第三步，订阅金菩提宗师频道，进入 YouTube 应用，在搜寻打出金菩提宗师，选取正确的频道。进入频道后可以看到宗师各种精彩的开示与直播记录。记得在频道按下订阅，并开小铃铛，接收各种通知。
第四步，快速看到喜欢的开示内容，点击影片，点击倒三角形符号，滑动预览，点击时间点即可。
如果喜欢这些影片，请点赞、留言、分享给亲朋好友，教会您身旁的亲朋好友，牵起他与宗师的缘分，法布施，功德无量。
各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。对，我们又见面了哈。今天呢，我们这个话题呢，就进入了一个大约的佛欢喜日的这样一个大的时间范围里。什么是佛呢？这就不用我解释了，就是大成就者。觉悟的生命，大慈大悲这个功德福德圆满具足
and has perfect and completed merits and virtues.
那很多人说我并不信佛我也不是佛
Many
教
people
徒。
might say that they are not a Buddhist
那
or that they don't
你
believe
说这
in
个佛的概
Buddha.
念，佛欢喜，
Then in the concept of
就这
Buddha,
样，咱们
Buddha's
慢慢
joy,
说哈。
then let's talk about it slowly.
首先说，我们学会感恩
First,
父母的养育之恩。
we first learn to be grateful to
现在
our
就有人担
parents
心了，
for bringing us up.
这个到了大概佛欢喜
Some
日，
people,
这个盂兰盆法会这个期间，通常是给已经往生的亲人
usually
祖
during the
先
Ulambana,
一个超度、超拔的这样一个
We
大好的机会。
yearly
讲
Ulambana
父
is
母
a
恩情，我父母
time
亲都健在
that that it's a time for soul salvation for people who have passed away. Some people might say that my parents are both alive. Then congratulations. But for some people, maybe one of the parents is alive, and that's very good too.
你觉得往上看看看不到父母，他已经不在身边了，那个时候
Of course.
后悔晚了，并且多数人到了那个懂事的年龄都后悔了，但确实为时已晚。就是在世
Most people, when they already understand that they need to respect their parents, but it's too late already.
有无限的感恩。
When
这个父母
they're
对
still
子女的
living,
疼爱，
we need to respect
如
them.
果说不
If they've
疼爱，
already passed
有
away,
那种就
we
是
should have
不
even
正常的
more
爱，不正
gratitude
常的心，或者
The
不好好
love
对待你的父母，
from the parents to the
不能说
children.
没有，那罕见的，
If they do not
罕见的
love
不得
them
了，
so
很
much,
少有。
if they have,
并且不管你的父母
you know,
亲是否
if they
觉悟，
didn't treat you so well,
Ah.
I won't say
在一
there's
般社
no
会人
parents
中
like
说是
that,
不
but
是一个
it's
好
very
人，
rare.
那都无所谓。无论他的文化高低，
And
或者
whether
什么
your
职业，
parents
爱
they
孩子，
are really nice, it's not important how
对
high
父
their
母亲来说，
education
这好像
is
天
or
经地
whatever
义
work
一
they
样，
do.
那一定的
Loving their
一定的，
children is like
所有
they're
的孩子
just
都放心
born with that.
啊。
It's
我觉得是
definitely
我有一个
they
体会，还有
love
我做
their
了无限的
children.
调查，
Please, all
事实证
children,
明这
just
一点。
be rest assured. I've done enormous investigations, and it has
这
already
某
been
种情况
proved.
特别的是，
Well,
比如
in
说
some circumstances,
这个
say
父
for
母长辈
example,
有的人犯了极度的精
maybe
神
the
病，
parents they have
分裂症
extreme
等等
mental
的，
disorder.
有的他这个
And
病态已经不认识
Maybe they
人，
couldn't even
啊，
recognize
他的行为
people.
完全是相
Their
反的失控。
behavior will be completely
如果就是
against
精神
their
病没有达
heart.
到相当
If
的
they
程度
haven't
的时
had
候，
really
他还是知道爱
terrible
孩子。
mental disorder, they would still love their children.
所以呢，我今天呢，
So
给大
today,
家讲一个故事。
I'd like to tell you
叫
a
父亲的爱。
story about
那
a
这个故事
father's
呢，
love.
是有一位网友叫小
So
妍的，
it's a
他
story
的
about
家庭
one
的
of our
真实的
online
经历
friends,
和
Xiaoyen,
故事。
and it's his true
这个
story.
妍呢，就是炎热的炎，
And
小妍啊。
His name is
这个小妍呢
Xiaoyen,
是家里的
and
老
he
三，
is
排行
the
老
third
三。
child
上头有一
of
个
the
哥哥，一个
family.
姐
He
姐。
has an elder brother
这
and
个
an
哥
elder
哥呢，
sister.
对，哥哥呢
And
就是是一个读了什么大学的大学
His
生，
elder brother
姐姐后来也上了大学，也
is
是一
studying
个
in
什
a
么师
university,
范大学
and
的
his
大学
sister
生。
also is studying in a
这个后
normal
来呢，
university.
他也，我先公布一下
Okay,
谜
I'll
底。
tell you the
后来
final
他也上
result
了大学。
first. And
上大
finally,
学
he
之后
also
呢，
was
他娶了一房
admitted
很漂亮
to
并且温柔
university,
体
and
贴、
he married
懂
a
事的妻
very
子。
beautiful and nice
所以
wife.
这个妻子当天
And
对他家
his
有了一个
wife,
了解之
after
后啊，
knowing
这有一
about
天
his
就很
whole
感
family,
慨，
one day
很敬
his
佩
wife was
小妍的父
very,
母。
touched
们都
and
生在那个非
respectful
常
to
荒僻的
Xiaoyen's
乡村。
parents because they
哎，
lived in
这
a
个父母
very
亲都没
remote
文化，
village. His
也没有
parents
什
were
么
not
在
very
乡
highly
村呢，哪还有钱
educated,
呢？
and in the
哎，
village
能
they
供出
were
3个大学生来，
not wealthy at all.
在现在
And
这个
to
时代的中
support
国也不容
3
易。
university
现在
students,
说这
even
个事已经
in
倒退了20年了，那是
nowadays
更
to
难。
support 3 university
那
students,
是
it
多么不
wasn't
容
an
易啊！
easy
那这
thing,
个
and let alone
他的
at
妻
that
子就想
time.
去走访
So
这
his
个父母亲，他
wife
已经成为他家的
wanted
这
to
个儿
go
媳妇了
visit
嘛。
his Xiaoyen's parents.
所以呢，先给小妍聊，小妍
And
就
so
讲起来这
his
过去
wife
的事情。
first talked to Xiaoyen about
等
his
他上这个，当
family
时小
when
妍上
Xiaoyen
初中
was
3年级
in
的时
grade
候，
9.
初中3年级的时候，就是他的哥
His
哥呢
elder brother
已经
was
是一个大
already
学
a
生了，
university student
因为家里呢
because
并不
they
富
were
裕，
not very
是个农
wealthy.
民。他
They
们
were
家呢
just
种植那个比较好卖的，当时一种植物
peasants,
就是
farmers,
烟叶，
and they,
就是我们
they
抽的香
plant
烟
those
当中那
tobaccos.
个植物，就是专门有这个
And
农
so
作
they
物，
do,
那个东
they,
西就叫烟叶。
they they grow those tobaccos in their fields. In northeast China and in Yunnan, there are also many farmers who grow these plants. And he also knows how to make the tobacco leaves, how to dry them and cure them. But they don't grow a lot, so they cannot make a lot of money. It's not like in the United States, they have a huge farm and they can make money. So one day, his elder sister received the notification from the best, teacher training university. The admittance from that university was sent to them, and the whole family was overjoyed, but they couldn't be happy actually. Right away after the first excitement, the sister already been admitted to the university was very happy, but first she was actually crying and said, "No, I won't go to the university. I already contacted my friends in Shenzhen. I will go work there, and I will try to make money so that I can support Xiaoyen to go to school." And Xiaoyen remembered that he was only in grade 9. And his father heard this and slammed the hole on the ground and said, "Not going to school? It shouldn't be you. Supporting Xiaoyen is not your responsibility. Just go there. Go to the university." And his elder sister said, "Oh no, how can we have money to support, to pay for the tuition and also the living expenses?" It was not in his hometown. And, the sister would have to go, it's not in his hometown, it would have to go to another city, and they have to rent a place to pay for the accommodation. For a low-income family to support a child to leave their family to go to university, it's actually a huge financial pressure for the whole family. And at the same time, his elder brother is already a university student. And his elder brother actually already were doing part-time job. He actually worked as a tutor to teach some other kids so that he can make some, earn some money to pay part of the tuition. And usually, for most of the people who can support the kids, and they would be so happy. You see, both kids are very good at studying and were both admitted to the university, but they cannot be happy. The elder sister was very sad and said, "No, we can hardly pay for the tuition," so she decided not to go. But the elder brother said, "Oh, maybe I should do more part-time work. I'll try to find more tutoring work." Actually, the elder brother paid for most of the living expenses by his tutoring, income, because otherwise it's too hard for the family. And then the father thought it over and went out. After a long time, he came back with some cash. And you know what? He sold their land at a very low price to the accountant of the village so that they can get some cash to pay for the tuition, so that their daughter can go to the university. And then the mother was asking, she said, "Oh no, if you sell the land, where can we have any income?" And then the father said, "Well, just let her go to the university first, and then we'll try to find a way out. First, we need to send her to the university." And then the father said, "Well, if we really can't find another way, maybe we'll just let the third child, Xiaoyen, maybe we can pull him out of the school." When Xiaoyen heard this, well, he actually were thinking of maybe he should quit school so that his brother and sister can go to school. But he didn't say that. Even though he thought about that, when his father said that, he felt very uncomfortable. And he always said, why I should be pulled out of the school? You were trying to sell everything to support my elder brother and sister. Why you don't pay for my, why don't you support me to go to school? And so Xiaoyen was very feeling uncomfortable. So anyways, his elder sister went to the university so that she can go away from this poor land. And so his father urged her to go to the university. And now the father doesn't have any land, but he also was very good at processing the tobacco leaves. I've never seen how they cure the tobacco leaves. If you use the original leaf, probably it won't make a good tobacco. Maybe they still need to cure the tobacco leaves. And so the father started to get hired by others to process and cure the tobacco leaves. And so he had to work very hard all the time and very rarely can have some time staying at home. Now Xiaoyen is a teenager. When he heard that his father wanted to pull him out of school, he felt really, sad. And he said, okay, if you're going to pull me out anyways, he thought, in every school, there are some kids who are not really nice. And so he started to hang out with those not so good kids. And he didn't go to school and study hard anymore. Until one day, he played for a whole day until very late. He came back home and his father was waiting for him at the door with a stick. And he was frightened. Or maybe the teacher told him. Now my dad knows that. But he still needs to go home. So he went there. His dad slapped on his face. He said, okay, if you don't want to go to school, then don't go. I'll just send you to your uncle and you can go work in the construction field. You don't need to go to school anymore. You don't want to go to school anyways. And then Xiaoyen was holding his face and feeling the pain and getting very emotional. And he said, you don't allow me to go to school. You just let my brother and sister go to school. You don't want me to go to school. But Xiaoyen was a very smart boy. And then the father said, well, I have no way. You're my youngest son. According to our Chinese culture, youngest son are supposed to stay home and support parents. But then Xiaoyen said, if you don't want me to go to school, I will kill myself. But this child, Xiaoyen, has a very strong personality. And you know what he did? He fasted for 5 days continuously. If he eat anymore, he didn't eat and he didn't drink at all. And his father was also very, strong-tempered. And he didn't want to give up either. And he said, okay, if you want to go to school, okay, I'll make money and support you to go to school, but you need to write an IOU. If you take any money from me, you need to write it down on the IOU. And in the future, after you graduate from university, you need to earn money and pay me back. This Xiaoyen actually really loves schools, and he really looked forward to go to school. He saw his brother and sister go to school. He really wanted to go there too. And now after 5 days of fasting, and father now gives him a way out. just write an IOU, and then they will give him, and then he can go to school. And so he said, okay, don't worry. After I make money, I will pay back any cents that I owe you. And so after he wrote an IOU first, he thought, this must not be my real father. He's not my biological mother. Any father would do anything to support their children, but my father is like that. But anyways, he now has a way to go to school. And then after he went to school, his father always, he go to school and doesn't come back home, but his father always find an excuse to ask him to come back and work, sometimes to help with drying the tobacco leaves. And every time his father asked him to come back, he was very rebellious, very resentful. But he still worked and helped his father to work. And once when he was harvesting the beans, the beans, they need to cut the plant, and then they accidentally he cut his leg, and his mother was applying medicine on the leg, and so he asked his mother, "Oh, Mom, did you adopted me?" And then his mother sighed and said, "Don't blame your dad. He really has no way out. He's almost, overwhelmed. He's also afraid that all of you will leave him, and then he would be too lonely. And if he doesn't support you to go to school, he feels sad. But if you support you to go to school, then all of you will leave him, and he would feel sad." But Xiaoyen doesn't listen to this. And Xiaoyen always thought that this is not his biological father. And so he always bear that feeling. However, every year his father would plant several strips of turnips. They call it ridges. So they grow some turnips in their front yard. It's not a big front yard, but every year they would grow some. But because maybe the texture or the quality of the soil is not very good, so the turnips cannot grow very big. But whenever Xiaoyen came back home, there will always be a soup made by the turnip leaves. And Xiaoyen said, "Oh no, why you always cook this soup? Can't you make another soup? The turnip leaves to cook soup. I can imagine. It smells pretty yucky." And Xiaoyen always feels like this is a kind of punishment to him, and almost feel like his mother is also punishing him. It's not his kind mother. And finally his elder brother graduated, and finally his elder sister also can support herself for the living expenses. And so his father didn't have to, pay so much, so not so much financial burden. But every time when Xiaoyen came back to ask for living expenses and tuition, his father will always have a very long face and seriously take out the IOU. In the village, even the paper is very precious. He would always use the old paper that he wrote before. So last time, maybe he wrote, "Okay, you took 50 yuan RMB, and you write down your name and write down your date, write down the date that you you took. And every time when Xiaoyen write the IOU and sign the name and date, he's almost about to, yell, you're now not so hard anymore. Why you still ask me to write this IOU? And it's almost getting to the college entrance exam. The weeds are harvesting. Usually when wheat is harvesting, within 1 week they need to harvest it. Otherwise, if there's a storm or heavy rain, if they drop on the ground, they couldn't, they cannot, have the wheat harvest, and they won't have any income. And it's already close to the college entrance exam, and his father still asked me to come back and help with the harvesting of the wheat. And so he was really irritated, and he said, look at other kids, their family are helping whatever they can to support their entrance examination, and why you can actually hire other people to do the harvest. Why should you ask me to come back and work on the field and harvest the wheat? But his father was still having a very long face and said, well, you're the youngest son. If I don't rely on you, who can I rely on? But Xiaoyen was very, very, outrageous, but he still worked and harvested for 3 days and nights, and he went back to prepare for the entrance examination. And Xiaoyen, actually, you know what? He got the highest, the top score in the entrance examination among all the kids in the whole area, in the village. And so he's about to leave home to go to the university. Xiaoyen was very, very mean at the time when he left, when he was about to leave. He didn't even want to greet his father or say hello, say goodbye to his father. When he's about to leave the village, he looked back. It's probably very natural because he's about to leave that village for a long, long time. So he looked back, and he saw that his father was standing at the door and looking in his direction. But Xiaoyen was holding tons of hatred towards his father. And he was thinking, this old man, he's so mean. His heart is like the iron. He has no love at all. I don't even know if I'm his child. But the result is like this. It actually was Xiaoyen's wife who finally disclosed the secret, the answer to everything, because he took a special trip to go and visit Xiaoyen's parents. Because when Xiaoyen told his wife about his parents, Xiaoyen didn't say anything good about his parents. Like he was saying about exploiting and mean and cold-hearted. But his wife went to see his parents and saw that his father was lying on the bed and very sick and very nice and kind, and his mother was also very warm-hearted, and it's not like what Xiaoyen described. And now he knows, finally, the mother told her, Xiaoyen's father asked Xiaoyen to come back home is only because Xiaoyen's father really missed him and wanted to see him. The reason for Xiaoyen's father to ask him to write the IOU is because Xiaoyen was hanging out with some bad kids, and for several weeks that he didn't study at all, and he wanted to, irritate Xiaoyen so that Xiaoyen would leave those bad kids, and so that he would be kind of pushed to go to study. At the same time, of course, they also were having extreme financial difficulties. And so Xiaoyen's father actually thought he would rather let Xiaoyen hate him than not study in school. And if Xiaoyen would stay in the village, he would always be a farmer. He won't have even enough food to eat. And therefore, he asked Xiaoyen to write an IOU so that Xiaoyen would, use all the effort that he can have to study hard. So his father would rather Xiaoyen hate him, and he would do anything that he can to make Xiaoyen, have a better life. And the reason for them to give him the soup of the turnip leaf is because Xiaoyen was very weak after birth, and there was a TCM told them if he can drink the soup from the turnip leaves, it would help him to nourish his qi. And it's very cheap, if since you're a farmer, if you grow some turnips and just use the leaves to make some soup, it will help the child to grow qi. It will help him to be healthier. And that's why his parents, Xiaoyen's parents, always grow the turnips and use the turnip leaves to make the soup. And his father always, prevent his mother to tell Xiaoyen that his father loves him, so that his son, Xiaoyen, would grow stronger. And at the time when this old father is already seriously ill, and his whole body, like every single part of the body, is painful. And now his children, including Xiaoyen, they were in a different city, and he doesn't want to tell them when the children wants to send back money to these parents. They don't spend the money, they just save them. So Xiaoyen's wife asked, you see, all your 3 children are grown up and they all send you money. Why don't you use the money? You could at least use the money to go to see a doctor. But Xiaoyen's father don't even go to see a doctor. And he said, I want to save this money and I'll give them to my grandchildren. So that's Xiaoyen's story. So you look at Xiaoyen's father, he always seems to have a very cold face, cold eyes, but actually he has such a loving heart. What about your father? Do you feel the same? Nowadays, maybe a lot of the teenagers or young people, your fathers, are not that cold face. They sometimes would, even spoil you. But how can you feel happy? You need to compare with more people, and then you will know whether you have a really wonderful life. So this is a father's story. I'll tell you another story about a mother, and that is a story about a mother's lies. Why mothers would tell lies? There's a boy, when he was a little boy, their family, very poor. They don't have enough food to eat. And his mother would always, put the rice on her own bowl to the children's bowl. And then the children would say, oh, you eat, Mom. But Mom will also always say, you eat, I'm not hungry. So this is Mom's first lie. And this young boy, when he grew to about 12 or 13 years old, like in a growth spurt, and his mother will go to the suburb, to the small river to catch some fish in order to cook some fish. Even though we do not promote, we do not recommend people to eat fish, but this mother, in order for the children to grow better, she thought the fish would be nutritious for the children. That's what she thought, even though we don't recommend that. The mother, they don't have money to buy meat or fish or any of those. Actually, the mother also needs those nutrition. But the mother do not eat the fish. She would let the children to eat the fish, and she would just lick the fish bones and try to have some leftover meat on the fish bone. And so the little boy would give the fish to the mom, and then the mom would say, oh no, I don't like to eat fish. So this is Mom's second lie. When he went to high school, Mom, he has, this young boy also has brother and sisters. And after the mom paid for all the tuitions, but you know what is Mom's job? She's just a sewing worker. And because the three kids are, eat a lot, and her income from the sewing cannot support the whole family, cannot buy enough food for all of them. And so she would, nowadays kids don't care about money. They always feel like, lots of money. But you think about their time, the mom doesn't have enough money to buy enough food, and so she went to, she sees somebody gluing those matchboxes, maybe 1 cent for every 5 boxes, and it's like very little money. And in some developed countries, maybe they use machines to glue those or make those matchboxes. But at that time in China, it's all man-made. Like I actually did that before, so that's why I have the same feeling. Well, it's like she would glue the matchboxes by hand. So there will be like a wooden block, and then they put the paper there, and then they would glue them together. Even for a whole night, even she can work for a whole night, she probably can only earn like $1. But at least she can have some money, even very little. And at the middle of the night, the boy woke up and go to washroom, and then saw his mom is still gluing the matchboxes, and he said, Mom, you need to go to work tomorrow, you go to sleep now. But Mom says, I'm not, I don't need sleep. So this is Mom's third lie. The boy continued to grow and graduated from high school now, and is attending that college entrance examination. And so his mother asked for several days off to stand right in front of the testing center, to support him. It's like the mom wants to show her support so that her son will have better scores and do well in exam. And so she would stand there for a whole morning. And during lunchtime, when everybody completed their test, the exam, the mom will give him, a bottle of very thick tea. And mom has already standing under the strong, very hot sun for a whole morning, and his lips are cracked and a lot of and sweating a lot. But she would not drink at all. She would just give the tea to the child. When the child give it back to the mom says, no, I'm not thirsty. So this is the fourth lie that mom told. And then after that, the boy's father was sick and then passed away. So the mom had to be both mom and dad, and he only had very little income from the sewing, and they were having an extremely hard life to support the whole family, to support all the kids. The only hope is for all the kids to go to university so that they can have a better future. Because the father has already passed away. For a single mom to support all these kids, it's really, really difficult. And sometimes maybe something is out of order. And, before, when the father is there, he can repair it himself. And sometimes something is too heavy and maybe something needs to repair. There was an Uncle Lee, who usually would repair watches for income. And he sometimes would find some excuses to come and help them. Sometimes maybe help to carry something heavy or support them something. And the neighbors all saw that the single mom was having so many difficulties supporting the whole family. So the neighbors all persuaded her to marry again, because it is too hard for her to support, and especially because her income is so low. For a sewing worker, their income is among the lowest, whether it's in the city or in the country. She alone can really barely support the family. And it's really too hard. The income is really too low. And his husband passed away. I mean, the boy's dad passed away, and so it's really hard. Uncle Lee always comes to help. And so some neighbors were trying to persuade them to get married. And so his mother, this boy's mother, is a widow right now. So they say, well, it's probably better they should form a new family. And Uncle Lee is really nice, always try to help them, and especially when there's something heavy or hard. But in order, I'm just guessing. It's just that the mom doesn't want the children to have a stepfather. The mother said, no, I don't love him. But actually, even the neighbors can see that they actually really need this Uncle Lee. And the mom is really grateful for this Uncle Lee. But when they persuade them to marry, the mom would rather sacrifice her own happiness to allow the children don't be, mistreated by, hopefully not be mistreated by a stepfather. And so the mom said she doesn't love him. And then after the boy graduated from university and started to work,
他母亲在缝纫社的这样一个缝纫女工的工作更艰难了。
The mother's work, becomes even harder. She was laid off because there was not enough work for the factory. And at that time, all her children, the 3 children, are already graduated and working. But the mother would just, try to sell some vegetables in a market to try to support her own life. And when the children, because they are already graduated and were already working, they always send money to the mother. But the mother would send back the money, and the money would say, "Oh, I have enough money." This is the sixth big lie that she told. And this boy actually is very good at studying and always have very good scores in the school. And so his university retained him, so he worked in the university as a teacher. And after 2 years working as a teacher, he worked very hard and studied very hard, and finally he was admitted by a prestigious university in the United States. And he was admitted as a PhD student. So he went to the United States. After he graduated from that university, he went to work in a research institute. In North America, when they're working in a research institute, their income is actually pretty good. Usually it would be even higher than some engineers. And because he has a very good income, this boy is a very good boy, and he wanted to, he knows that his mother is still living a very, hard life. So he wants to go and bring his mother to the United States because he says, "See, Mom, I'm now having a very good living condition." But the mother refused. And she said, "No, I can't get used to that." This is the mom's 7th lie that she told. And later, the mother gets older and older, and then got very, very sick. And she was sent to the hospital. And she couldn't live very long. So the boy who is working in the United States quickly fly back to see his mother. It was after the surgery. The mom is already almost dying. It's among the last minutes. The doctors and nurses said his mother's, this illness is actually very, very painful. And so this boy feels very sad.
看到孩子们很悲伤。
When she saw that the boy is very, this young man is very sad, so the mom comforted him and said, "Don't cry, my son. I have no pain at all. Don't worry."
这是母亲
This is
最后
the
的
last
谎
lie
言
that she told, and the last words that she said.
在我个人在看到所有的人，所有的父母亲爱孩子的时候，
When I see all
都是远远
parents
超过这
loving
两个故事。
their children, actually, their love is even
在
more
我们7岁以
than
前，
what was told in the stories.
通常父母亲
Before we were
如果有一天不管
7 years
你，
old,
你
if even
肯定
just a
会出
single
问题。
day that the parents don't look
几
after
乎
us,
有3天不
say
管
for
你，你已经死
example,
透
just
透
3
了，
days, maybe we will die if they don't
是
look
吧？你
after
不会
us.
走路的时候，
Before you
不小心让
can
你吃错了东西，
before
你
you
就
can
死了。
walk, if they
你得了病
accidentally
少一
give you
点，
some wrong food,
对
maybe
你
you
的
would
关
die.
心你就会
And
死
if you're
掉。
sick and they give you a
当
little
你
bit
小
less
腿刚会
care,
跑，
then
可
you
是你
would
脑子还不
die.
好使的时候，见
And
什么都拿，
for little
见
kids,
多高的东西都敢爬，
you
什
would
么都敢抓，
grab
什么就
anything,
是刀，
and
就是
you
油，
would
就是狗
even
屎都敢塞
dare
到
to
嘴里
grab
去。
knives or
一
or
天不
hot
管，你的可
oil,
能会
or
出问题，
so if they don't care
有
about
可能会
you,
死亡。
you would even just for a single minute, you might even die.
所以这2个故事当中，都是孩子
And
其实根本不记得小时候父母亲是多么疼爱他，
in these stories,
是他们
sometimes
有
the
了记忆
children
和判断力之后，并且还是
don't
错误的
remember
判
how
断，
their parents
最后还能总
love
结了
them,
说，
and only
哎，
after
父母
they
对我的好，
finally
一念之差都不会总结到父
they
母对自己
summarize or recall what their parents had done for them, they finally would realize
所
how
以
much
这个
their
故事还是
parents
比较
love
粗
them.
略的。
And
我觉得不用说太大的、太刺激人的这种
let's not
情感的故事，
tell you more touching
就是每一
stories
个
about
父母
parental
亲
love.
有几天不
If
管我们早死，
even if our parents only
这
just
是必
ignore
然
us
的结果。
for a few days, we
但往
probably
往你
cannot
长大了，
survive.
17、18岁以后了，
After
不会天
you
天的抱着你，
grow
不是
up
天天那么
to
喂你
like
了。
18,
当
19
你
year
做错了
old,
事情，
and
父母反对的
you
时候，
can be
当你做
independent,
错
and
事
if
情，
you do
不断做
something
错事情，
wrong,
父母
and
不
if
断的
your
反对你
parents don't
和
agree
训斥
with
你
you
的时
and
候，
even blame you,
往往你还
a lot
会
of times you
怀
would
恨在心，
even,
那是多么
hate
不
your
应该啊！
parents. That's really, you shouldn't be
对
like
你的
that.
好，你一
You
分都没记住，
you didn't even
但
remember
同样
all
是
the
训斥
love
你，
that they give you.
同样是
And
对
even
你
when
好，
they are
你不懂啊。
they still scold you out of
因
their
为有
love.
时候父母亲就说
It's
别和
just
那
that
个
you
人交
don't
往，
know. Sometimes your parents would say,
我觉
don't
得那
hang
个人
out
是个
with
坏
that
人，是
person.
个
I
骗
think
子。
that is not a good man.
你呢？你
And
就
then
说
you would say,
我要人
oh no,
权，
I need my
你
human
管得着
rights.
吗？
You cannot control
我老
me.
师说了，我人格是独
My
立的，
teacher already
我
said
的
I'm
行动是自由的。
independent. I have my own freedom.
你用
And you
老师
use
教的
what your
和
teacher
法
told
律
you,
来
and
和
you
父母亲
use the
对峙。
law to
哎，
to fight against your
等你老了
parents.
之
But
后就
when
知
you
道
grow older,
自
you would
己
know
悔不该
you
不
would be
听父
so
母亲的话，
regretted that you didn't listen to your parents
因为
because
你必然会受
you
苦。
would
你交错了
suffer
朋
if you
友，
make a
有时候
bad
就
friend.
一脚踏入了
And sometimes it even leads you to
没人拉
hell,
得回来。
and nobody can
因
bring
为
you
很多父母
back.
亲宁可
And
让你
some
误解我
parents would
对你的好，
rather you
我也不会让你学坏。
misunderstood them
就像个老
than
父亲，
allowing you to do the wrong
这是什
thing
么？
or go to a wrong path. Just like in the
这是
first
用
story,
无论
the
多
old
么锋利
father.
的刀都切不断
Why
的
is
情爱。
that? It's because this love can never be, this
希
loving
望
bond can
所
never
有的
be
亲人
cut
朋友
by
都好好
even the knife. So I
记住，
hope
好好理
my
解这个。
friends will understand this and remember this.
另外，生命是在循环中，
And Our life is in a cycle. Sometimes, your own children, say for example, your mom, maybe passed away 10 years ago. And after 2 years, you had your daughter. From what I heard, it's not that I see with my own eyes, but I have known the story that, the new baby is actually the mother who reincarnated and came back to be your daughter. I told Juezheng Joyce this morning, and Joyce asked why she wanted to be the child. Every story is different. Maybe in the last life, she was the mother, and now she became the daughter in this life. Why she did that? Sometimes it's because the son was not very filial, and the mother loved the son so much. After the son get married, he doesn't respect and love the mother anymore, so the son owes a lot of love to the mother. Usually, the man, even if he doesn't respect or love mother, he would always love the child. And so that's why the mother came back to be the child. Because of love, now there's some kind of resentment. And so this love will stop in the middle. When this child already received enough love, then they will leave. And so that's why some people die at 20 years old, and at this time they will make the parents very sad. Sometimes, say for example, a lover, their lover suddenly leaves them, and they also feel very sad. So this is like a punishment. And when the parents suddenly lose their children,
当然也有另外一种转世来了之后说，因为这种情和爱，所以我作为你的孩子，我还会活到80、90岁，和你们相处都很好。因为这样深深的情，而不是抱怨来的，而是一种就是报恩来的。那么要么叫抱怨，要么叫报恩的。报恩来的，它会对你的家庭、家族、事业、寿命都是有帮助的。这又不一样。对，所以这个因果循环了。因果循环这个概念不可思议的。我们就这么一辈一辈这么传的。当然大家不要误会，说你的孩子是不是你们家的长辈转世，有的是，少数的是，有多数不是。所以我讲的故事，这些故事一点都不神奇，都是普通人家的故事。所以提醒各位网友朋友，学会敬爱自己的父母，还要学会敬爱感恩这个你结婚那一半的父母。他们把孩子给你养大，今天你和他结了婚，你才得到这份爱。所以和你结婚的这个伴侣的父母，也要当自己父母一样来爱。提醒大家别忘了对父母感恩。所以现在父母在跟前的，现在应该给父母亲磕个头，问个安，或者做个拥抱，说我爱你。等有一天父母不在，你想说没地方说。
Give them a hug or even a koto. Treat your spouse's parents are like your own parents.
所以我在10几岁的时候，
And remember to be grateful to your parents.
遇到一位母亲，
So if your parents are in front of you now,
这个故事我讲了好几次，今天也再送给大家。很多新网友没听过，听过的也忘了。
Say I love you, or not told
因为
in front
在
of them.
西藏地区呢，它这个供这个点灯供佛的这个油灯哈，它烧的是酥油。酥油是什么概念？是固体的，就像那个融化溶解之后的那个猪油一样，它放那它是庆祝的，它不会流动，就有点像蜡一样的感觉。但是如果遇到温暖、遇到火，它就会融化。所以来供油灯的人呢，就会拿着一块酥油放在一个金属碗里头，就在每一个油灯下，因为很多小油灯供佛，在每个油灯上去烤了这个油一滴进去。那里呢是千佛殿，所以它的这个有一千盏油灯，它的油灯里就是滴这些香油进去。那个时候那个酥油是非常贵。就是如果肉是1块钱一斤，1块钱一斤的话，酥油就15块钱一斤，是这个比重。对，所以妈妈拿那么一大疙瘩酥油，那可能有1公斤。
For this type of
哎，
lighting is very
很慈
expensive,
祥的，
much more expensive than a piece
各个油灯里
of
滴油。
pork or meat.
我盯着看了很久，
My mom used a very
但
large
是我
piece of
还
butter
是
to
因缘的原
add
因，我还是问
oil
他
into the lamps,
啊，
and she
我说你
spent a
为
lot
什
of
么
time doing it.
来
And so I
点灯？
asked this mother, why do you
为什么
come
来点灯
to
供佛？
light a lamp
你有什么愿
to
望
make
吗？
offering to the Buddha?
他说我有
What is your
啊，
wish? She said, yes,
我的
I
儿
do have a
子17、
wish.
18岁了，
My son
这不
is
刚刚
17,
去
18
城里
years
打工
old,
吗？
and he is working in the
我
city.
们有没有城市的亲戚朋友？
We don't have
我们
any
都是在这
friends
草原乡
in
下
the
啊，
city. We all
这
live
个
in the suburb.
又没有朋友，又没有亲戚。如果他遇到坏人的时候
What if
怎么办
What
呢？
will
所以
he
我就
do
请佛
if
菩萨
he
哈，
runs into
到那
bad
个时候
people
给
in
他
the
指明
city?
路啊，把
There's
他
no
人
one
生
to
这个
help
路照
him.
得亮亮的，
And so I'm
哎，
asking
别
for
教坏朋友，
Buddha's help so
还
that
要避开灾难
his path is illuminated,
别遇
so
到
that
坏
he
老板，
will not run
别
into
遇到
bad
坏人
friends, bad boss,
啊，
bad
别叫人给
people,
骗了，
so that he
别叫
will
人
not
给
be
杀了，
cheated,
别
and
把
he
自己
will
给
not
累
be
病了。
murdered, he will not
但是
become sick.
几年该回家的时候，
And
要
also,
平平安安的回
I
家
hope
来。
that he can come back to see us every few years.
我家里还有孩子，我也不能陪他
I
去，
have other children at home, so
所以
I cannot
我就
accompany him to go to the city.
祈请佛菩萨
And。so I pray to the Buddhas and
那个店最重要
Bodhisattvas.
的还是药师佛，
I
祈
pray
请佛
to
菩萨，
the
祈请药师
medicine
佛，
Buddha
在他每次需要
that every
护
time
佑和指
when
路
he
的时
needs
候，
protection
佛菩
and
萨
blessing,
去将他的
that
心
Buddha
照
and
亮。
Bodhisattva will give him guidance by
我听
illuminating
了
his
好感
heart.
动啊！
I was touched by her words.
其实到后来我还问他，
Then I asked
我
her,
说你有没有盼的？我说的俗了一点，你有没有盼望着你的孩子
have you
发财
ever wished
做
for
大
your
官？
child to become very rich, to
母亲
become
摇
a
头，
high government official?
我只盼望着孩子一生平安。
He said, no, I only wish him to be safe and
就光那
peaceful
一次
all
拿着
his
那么
life
大疙瘩
long.
酥油，那多少钱呢？
Do you
在
know
那
how
个
much
时代
it
啊，
costed to
那一
have
块疙瘩
such
酥油能换一
a
头牛，
large, big piece of butter
是
to
一个
light the
很
lamps?
大的价钱，
It could worth
来去供养佛菩
a
萨。
livestock.
你看
It
看
is a very
做母
large
亲的心
amount
是
to
什么样
make offering to the Buddha. Just look at the heart of this mother.
所以，我们在这个时候，
So at
先
this
懂
time,
得恭敬父母，
first we
敬
need
爱
to
父母。
be respectful to our
因为
parents and
父母
to
亲
love our
是
parents
生了我们，再把我
because
们含辛茹苦
they gave
的、
us life
很艰难的将我们养大。
and they bring us up
还有，
in
你
difficulties.
还要得到你祖宗那个能
Furthermore,
量对你的呵护和
we
支持。
also need the support
因
from
为
our
只有通过父
ancestors.
母这个血脉的传承，
Only through
将你
this
祖先的能量
bloodline
和智慧都传
will
达给
our ancestors' energy and wisdom be passed to
你。敬
us.
祖不敬父母，那
If
就是
you
瞎扯，
only respect the ancestors
那是
but
犯魂的想法。
not your parents,
和
then it
祖
doesn't
宗连
work.
在一起是通过父母这样连的。
We are connected
就是一
to
条
our
龙脉，
ancestors through
一条
our
血脉。
parents. This is a bloodline.
啊，所以
So if your parents are alive, we need to learn to practice filial piety to our parents. And obey the parents. If you are always confronting your parents, then in the future you might regret it. Just so that you won't regret in the future, maybe you should follow my words today. Some parents have left us before we have a chance to practice filial piety. Some parents are still alive. Some parents are old or sick. Today, let us do something for them. For parents who are living, may them be healthy and live a long life, so that they can accompany us for another 30 years. And for parents who have passed away, let us chant for them and pray for them, so that they are illuminated by the Buddha's light and they can reincarnate into a good family, a family of fortune and wealth, and most importantly, so that they are freed from hell, from the sufferings. They are free from darkness, so that they are not punished through chanting mantras and lighting lamps. They will be saved by the Buddha. Humans cannot do it, but we can borrow, we can pray for Buddha's warmth and Buddha's illumination to save them. So our gratitude starts from now. So that save our parents or our parents' parents, to save the parents of our past 7 lives or past 10 lives. Today, we are a human being, but in our past life, we might not be a human being. We might be other animals or other beings. And so we pray to the Buddha to save, to bring salvation to the parents of our past 7 lives or 10 lives, so that we in this life can be happy, healthy, have wealth and fortune. If our parents are suffering, then our wishes cannot come true. Even if they might come true, it might not be a good thing for us. So first of all, we need to gain recognition from our parents and our ancestors for us to be fortunate. So I hope everyone can chant with me. Chant for our dearest parents. Let us chant the Earth Store Bodhisattva's heart mantra. As long as we chant Earth Store Bodhisattva's mantra, the door of the hell will open, and spirits that are related to us, and even our karmic creditors, they will be released from hell. And this is the best opportunity for them to be released, to be liberated. You can look on the screen and there will be pronunciation, and remember to be sincere. Let us start.
为什么耶稣哦哈哈，为什么耶稣哈哈哈，为什么耶稣哦哈哈，为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为什么耶稣哦为什么耶稣为 为什么耶
愿一切有缘众生，听到地藏王菩萨心咒，
the Ancestral Bodhisattvas heart mantra, they will be liberated. They will be free from sufferings. They will not have any calamities. And all those departed souls will be guided to Eastern Pure Land, or they will be reincarnated to healthier and happy families. Just now, I've mentioned the Buddha's joyous day. I believe our parents are our Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in this life. Whatever their education levels, their work, or any situation they are in, but for their children, they are their Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. To allow Buddhas to be happy is also to allow our parents to be happy. So we need to respect them, to also to pay respect and filial piety to them. In Chinese, Xiao, filial, and shun means always listen to them and do what they ask us to do. So in a normal situation, we should learn to follow their instructions and always care about their health and care about their emotions, their moods. And whenever we receive our salary, we try to buy something that they like and give it to them. And if they're sick, we go to serve and help them. We learn to do this and try not to leave a regret for us. For those already departed parents, our respect and gratitude to them in our heart, we pray for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to allow their souls to be salvated, to receive salvation, to receive soul salvation. If they are having a wonderful life in the heavenly realm, then our life can be better. This is called Buddha's joyful day. And in the history, this is also means that all the cultivators, after their cultivation, they already completed their session of the cultivation and practice, and it's a day for celebration. And Buddha Dharma also teach us how to be a good person. And so our life as a human being is different from a life of an animal. And so to be a person who knows good and bad, to know what is right and wrong to do. So I hope every one of you will become a compassionate, a wise, and happy person. Some things we're not able to do ourselves. Say, for example, the relatives or loved ones in hell, we cannot allow them to have their souls salvation. But we can pray for Buddha's, Bodhisattvas' help. We can light candles, like the mother who I mentioned in the story. Her son went to work in the city, and she still has other kids, so she needs to look after the other kids, and she cannot go with the oldest child. And so she prayed for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to guide him, and especially in critical times. And this impression is with me all these years. I can never forget it. So Joyce and Christine, do you have any questions or any sharings? Thank you, Grandmaster. Today, we're also very, very touched. Yeah. There are many of our online friends, after listening to Grandmaster's teachings, they're all recalling the love from their parents, and they really resonate with the teachings today. I'd like to share a few of the sharings of our online friends. And Kun Zhao said, "Thank you, Grandmaster, for your teachings. Before, I also resented for my father's strictness. I'm so sorry. Your daughter is now repenting in front of Buddha. Pray for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to bless and protect Father, and to allow his illnesses to disappear, his afflictions to disappear, and he will be healthy and happy." And McGlisten, he said, "Oh, Grandmaster, my mother also worked as a worker, and in order to make more income, my mother was also like that, working in the daytime and also in the evening do some extra work. And he worked so hard. He never say that he worked so hard just for us, his child. Every pain becomes joy." And Lucky Law said, "I also heard my parents say, oh, I don't like to eat it. I don't like it. It's fine. I heard so many times from my parents. I took it for real. But now I know that it's actually their lives, and I'm so grateful for their love and care. I'd like to dedicate all my merits to my parents and wish them health and peace." And another friend said, "I didn't pay respect to my parents and wasn't filial to my parents. And now I don't know how to repay these love. And now I'm already in my late years, and I'm so fortunate that I learned from Bodhi meditation. Now I know how to pay some respect and offer something to my parents through offering lights and other offerings. Thank you for Grandmaster's compassionate teachings." And there are many other friends are expressing in English, in Korean language, Master's teaching touched their heart. They also say that their parents are like this. And they also say that their parents are their Buddhas, and they are the living Buddha. And only when they became parents that they understand their own parents, how much love and why they should have done that. And there's so many people express that in the comments.
这个德甘他也分享，他就说
有一个师姐shared a sister in order for her son to have a better life, so she would light candles for her own karmic creditors in order, because she thought that if her karmic creditors are happy and her DNA will be better, so her son would have a better life. On the 7th day after she light candles for her son had already lost work for a whole year and finally got a job. He hasn't got a job for a whole year, and on the 7th day of offering light, he got a job. And Ning Li said, her parents' love, we have no way to repay, and only when we only through our love and care. And we're grateful for our own parents, and we wish all parents will be healthy and happy. Well, thank you, Grandmaster, for all your teachings. In my family, my grandparents' parents, we finally made a very good tomb for them, and we honored them formally, finally. And my parents, they were thinking about their parents' care and love. And for my generation, like myself and my sister and my cousins, we were also recalling our parents' love. And so the whole big family, we're thinking about this love, and it helped us to bond even stronger and love each other even more. And so in these days, if I'd like to light candles for the whole big family, I know my grandparents' parents' name, I know my grandparents' name, and I also thought about my, ancestors, my also my parents from past 7 lives or more lives, and karmic creditors, and also aborted babies. And so shall I light a candle for, each one of them? Say, for example, my karmic creditors, my parents, and my grandparents, and my grandparents' parents? Or shall I light one candle for each? Or shall I have one big candle and light for all of them? Well, Grandmaster said, if you would like more energy, say, for example, for my ancestors, I light a candle or make an offering for my ancestors. And for my karmic creditors is a different part. I make another offering for my karmic creditors. And then for my parents, I make a separate offering. Well, if you make separate offerings, maybe it would be even more energy and more effective. This time, I haven't prepared many lights for everyone. I'd like to tell you and our online friends, maybe you can write all your ancestors, your parents, and from all these lives and karmic creditors. Can you put everybody under one plaque or one candle? I know a lot of your ancestors, they have a lot of merits, so they are either in Western Pure Land or Eastern Pure Land. But even so, as a human being, this gratitude that you want to express, you should still light candles and make offerings or other offerings to them, and so that you can elevate yourself, you would be even more compassionate and more respectful to heaven, to earth, to all, the lives. Last time, Grandmaster, you mentioned some of our ancestors or grandparents, they have already passed away for a long time. We still need to make offerings to pray for, the good things for them. And we can still pray for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to make their life even better. And we can continuously send blessings, send best wishes, and pray for blessings for them. And for ourselves, this offering and show respect and gratitude is a very good thing. Well, Grandmaster said, my parents, I can see that they are not in hell, they're in the best place, but still this time I will still offer lights for them and make offering for them. A few days ago there was a squirrel just jumped and run under my car, and I couldn't start the car in time to save his life, and so I light a candle for the squirrel. And for your aborted child, if you light candles or offerings for them, then you would feel better. And so for those karmic creditors, if you light candles for them, it's really important. If your, maybe one of your child is a reincarnated your parents, they want to ask for the debt to be paid back. And maybe they feel like 20 years of love from you is enough, and then they can go, so they die. What you see is that they die. So all these cause and consequences and these love and and hatred, the clearer we can the more we can clear it, the better. So the earlier we can clear these, the better. Because otherwise, it's always there. You have to clear it anyways. And in the sutra, there was a Dharma teacher said, he saw, that was in the early Qing dynasty, about 300 years ago. He saw someone committed suicide. And in this life, I think, in China, it was the Cultural Revolution. He became, an educated person, and so he was, he was beat, and so he committed suicide again, and so. And so that Dharma teacher said, why this child committed suicide? This young boy has so many wrinkles, because he already committed suicide many times, 3 times. The first time, maybe it's because of the parents. The second time, he wanted to marry Ms. Li, but Ms. Li has already already agreed to marry another person. So you cannot, it's a promise, they cannot change it. And especially in the old China, this is even more rigid. They cannot change it. And because of that, he committed suicide. And then this Dharma teacher said he would commit suicide 100 times, then he can clear all these, karmas. But every single time, the committing suicide will cause a lot of hurting and harm. You maybe for, you would hurt your parents, and you may hurt that lady, that girl who you wanted to marry. And because you hurt so many people, that will bring you to, I don't know where you would be bring to. And so some of these debts, you need to clear them, pay them back as early as possible. Maybe this time you light a candle. Maybe you only paid 50 cents and you put all the names there. Maybe your parents, your grandparents, and ancestors, and karmic creditors. Would it be effective? Would it help? Well, so if you go to some temples, you always need to pay something. And let's say if you had a car accident, say for example, and broke your leg, and compared to paying $2,000 to offer a candle or something, which is better? And maybe you can just light a candle yourself, or but would it help? Would it help to clear karmas? Okay, anyways. And so Joy said, okay, thank you, Grandmaster. Now I understand. I will do all that I can to go to repaying and light candles. Grandmaster said, all these candles are the most expensive candles here. Just joking. So, but you compare to another car accident or, you know, for the aborted babies, maybe you think, oh, you didn't deliver the baby. You just saw that, okay, you probably didn't even see blood because the doctor didn't show you. But that was still your child. Because of you, you killed the baby. You don't feel sorry? What if someone killed you? Your parents sometimes blame you. You would even hate your parents. And you killed your baby. How can you clear that karma? If you understand this, you need to try to clear that bad karma. A few days ago, someone told me her cousin had 4 car accidents. And she showed me her picture. She said, what was the problem? And I said, I don't know how many times she would still have car accidents. Well, she said, how can you say that? But I said, well, that's what I saw. And she said, so what can she do? And so she asked me to just give some blessings. If just some blessings can do, it would be wonderful. Maybe it would be too easy. After 3 years, she might even die from an accident. What can we do? And so she contacted her cousin, and her cousin asked me, she said, oh, Grandmaster, well, how much you can, like, how much do I need to pay to save her life? It's not about money. You did so many bad things, and now the consequences came. She probably, you know, the bad karma maybe will be divided into 10 times or several times. Maybe the killing will be divided into many accidents, and maybe will not kill you, but you will always lie on bed. In order to clear these bad karma, this bad consequence, what can you do? First, you need to learn to repent, and then offer lights, offer candles, making offerings. Only Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are so compassionate. I forgot to explain this heart mantra. When you chant this mantra, allow all those, you know, those suffering souls in hell will hear this. As long as they can hear this, they will go to heaven. Don't need to think that Buddha will use a rope to pull them. As long as they hear this, it's like the energy is so enormous that the light, wherever the light can reach, they can be salvated. They can be released. Their souls will be released. Thank you, Grandmaster. So there was a sister who shared benefits from offering the lights. A sister, Feng Yamei, she told a story about her daughter. Her daughter was in Singapore. She has a boy and a girl, about 6 or 7 years old. So after the baby was born, her mother-in-law will come and look after the baby. But every time her mother-in-law came, then there will be something not so pleasant happening. Maybe the baby or the child will cry or cannot sleep well or lose weight, or until this May, this grandma came again, and so the grandson started to cry and fight, and you know, something unpleasant starting to happen again. And so one day the grandson told the mom, he said, I dare not sleep because there's another boy always come to see me and said that his mother doesn't want him. And the mother, didn't take it seriously. And then after a few days, her daughter used to sleep with the nanny. At the middle of the night, the daughter came to the mother's room and he said, Mom, don't let my younger brother to hold my feet. But the younger brother actually slept with the mother. He didn't want to pull the girl's feet. And so the mother thought about her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law actually had some abortions before. So this sister, Feng Yamei, this mother, she lit candles for the aborted babies of her mother-in-law's aborted baby. And so she light candles, and she also asked practitioners, her sisters, to chant. And so one day when they were chanting Medicine Buddha's heart mantra, this aborted baby suddenly appeared in front of mother, and the baby said, you need to help me. I know you light candles for 3 days, but this is not powerful enough to help me. I need a lotus plug and also my parents to give me a name. And so Feng Yamei's mother-in-law admitted that in 1986 she aborted the baby. And after she admitted, so the aborted baby felt better. And another day they were playing Medicine Buddha's heart mantra again. So that aborted baby went to attach on the baby, and so the sister is like telling what the baby wants to say. Oh, my parents don't give me a name. I give a name for myself. The name is Huang Wenqing. I know that they want to help me with a Taoist way, but I'd like to help myself with the Buddhist way. And so this Feng Yimei sister offered candle instead of 3 days. She offered a candle for 1 year, and made a very good offering and chanting. And so after that, when the mother was about to sleep, this aborted baby appeared in the ceiling and was smiling. And ever since then, the aborted baby never came back. The whole family was in peace, and the kids are always sleeping well. Oh, that's wonderful. I hope that the baby will be guided to Eastern Lapis Lazuli world and will never suffer. Thank you, Grandmaster. Another online friend also shared some benefits after they made offerings and light candles. These days, because for some reason in their dreams, some friends would receive messages from their parents, or there's a friend, Adela, shared a sister once dreamed someone, a stranger, and that man said, please help me. And the sister said, I don't know you, how can I help you? And this man said, just light a candle for me. I don't have a good life. So the sister thought, oh, you already come to ask me, so I'll help you. What kind of candle do you want? And the sister actually in the dream was thinking, she doesn't have much money. What if that man asked a very expensive candle? But that man said, oh, just light a candle for 3 days for me. And his name is this. And so the sister woke up and light a candle for this man. And when she was about to pay, she found that she just had right the amount of money enough to pay for 3 days candle. So this is Adela's sharing. And Degan also shared when she was only a teenager, he or she had a dream, and she dreamed that her aunt was burned in the courtyard, in the front yard. She didn't know what was the reason. And in 2017, in the lunar July, she dreamed of her again, this auntie, and she saw her back. And then she was standing in a very dark place. And then she got cold, and so she talked to her mom, and she know, oh, her aunt actually passed away because of fever. So she light a candle, a light for her aunt. And then her own cold was fine, and so she hoped that her aunt will be will be guided to Pure Land. And another friend shared her mother passed away, and last year she first made offerings to honor her mother, and so she wanted to know where her mother went to. So she opened she opened the book of the Buddhist rope, and the only 2 words she saw was tomb or cemetery, and she felt very sad. So this year she light 5 candles to help the soul salvation of her mother. And so this year this year she opened the Buddhist rope, this book again, and she saw 2 words. It's a golden hall or golden temple, and she picked the Grandmaster's 64 trigrams, and she saw Buddha light shines on the whole world, and it's so auspicious. And Grandmaster said, wonderful. And another sister shared, a sister in light candles for her son's karmic creditors. And Sister Dehan is lighting candles for her families. Her mom was dizzy and was vomiting and was sent to the hospital. So Xuanhan light candle for a light in repaying for her mother. On the exact that day, her mother was not dizzy anymore, not vomiting anymore, and so she's really grateful. Grandmaster is our Buddha, and she said, thank you, Grandmaster. And another friend shared, her father passed away more than 5 years now, and every time he dreams of his father, he saw that the father was wearing shorts and very sad, and no clothes, no shoes. And every time he would chant for grandmother, he would feel very sad. So the teacher asked him to light candles for his father and dedicate merits to his father and chant for his mother, and he always did. Last year, he also light candles and chant for his mother. And but the last time he was in the chanting class, he saw his father came to the meditation center, and his father was very happy and was wearing clothes and was very happy. And so Grandmaster said, that's very good. His father would be released, his soul would be released. And another friend shared that his father passed away early. His mother, suffered a lot to bring up all 4 children. And now his mother passed away, and he offered a biggest Buddha's perfection light to pray for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to release his mother's soul and guide her to the Pure Land. Another friend shared that his father, before he when he light candles on the 49th day, he dreamed of his father. His father said, "Thank you. I received the merits. This is very helpful." And from now on, he would also want to learn Dharma. And one day in the B1 class, he saw his parents smiling at him and said, "Grandmaster Jimbodi guide us to Pure Land." And so, oh, that's wonderful. Last year, there was a practitioner in Vancouver, and he said his father passed away because of a car accident about 20 or 30 years ago. And at that time, he was very young. And I don't know what happened. But he didn't, he didn't solve the problem in the best way, and so he always dreamed. And the recent 6 months, every week he would see his father. His father would be wearing very dirty shorts and bare feet and hair very messy and very hungry and very thin, like very skinny. And so this practitioner, this student asked me, what does that mean? I asked him, "When did your father go?" I looked at it. "Oh, I saw that your father left passed away when he was in shorts." A lot of times in a car accident, their shoes will, suddenly get lost. I don't know why. During that time, his father, the whole time, even when they sent him to get burnt, he still didn't wear clothes, was only wearing shoes and only no shoes and only wearing shorts. And so the father was always feeling sad and complaining, and he couldn't tell the daughter. And so he always showed that image to the daughter in the dream. And so what can she do? She didn't know that. When she came to see me, she was a military soldier before, and she has no idea about this. And so I told her, "You need to burn something for your dad, so she can go to some special stores that they sell these kind of paper clothes. Of course, you can also make those and tailor them to like suits. Those stores sometimes can even sell paper cars. And everything that you see here will be if you burn them, they will be exactly the same thing in that world." Why? And she asked, "Why the father always come to show me?" Because so I told the student, "It's because you love him, first of all, and also because you learn Bodhi meditation. So the father knows that through Bodhi meditation and through Grandmaster, your father knows that he can be helped and he can be saved. If his father give the dream to her brother didn't learn this and will have no way to help her father. And so after she heard from me, she went to buy a lot of paper, those ingots and clothes, and I picked a date for her, and she bought a lot of those things, and also money, and she burned them for him. And also she made offerings in the Ulaanbaatar festival. She also offered 7 lights for her father. And so when she dreamed of her father again, her father is like shining and glowing. But before, her father's eyes were, gloomy and very dark, and hairs were very, gray and messy. But after she made those offerings and burned all those things, and her father is like glowing the whole time. So I heard this, and I know that her father also got very healthy. No, her father goes to the best place, and the daughter also gets very healthy. Before, the father was in a bad situation, so she was having high blood pressure, and she was very frightened and always watched TV series until very late because she was very frightened, and she could only fall asleep after watching lots of TV series. But after she made the offerings and also burned the clothes, she could see that her father was wearing the clothes that she burned for him, and her hair is very tidy and smiling, and then left upwards, go upwards, and like a white light. And so now the father is received salvation. So now the daughter also has a better life. So if your parents are suffering in another realm, then you will not have a good life.
咱们网友还都有这方面的分享，真的挺好。
A lot of our friends have many
奶奶过世那一年，在禅堂给奶奶点了49天的朝鲜灯，大约就是在第48天、49天的时候。
So this friend shared, she offered lights for her grandmother, and she dreamed after offering 49 days, she saw her grandmother, was wearing some good clothes and hair very tidy, and even give me a red envelope. And so she was very happy. So that dream, Grandmaster said, that's a very good dream. Her mother gave her red envelope. That symbolizes you have good things happening. So only when your ancestors have better life, so this dream means your ancestors, your grandmother is giving something back to you. It's a very, very good dream. Another friend shares, he or she had bad headache, and then in the dream he saw his grandmother, and it's a sister, so she offered lights, and even she agreed to offer lights for the grandmother, and even before she actually go light the candle, her headache disappeared. Well, this suddenly reminds me, say for example, your parents or even your grandparents, or if your parents or grandparents has migraines or headaches, if in your genes, say for example, they already passed away, you are now only 30 years old, you've never had migraines or headaches, if they cannot receive salvation, their symptom will manifest in your body. Maybe when you're 31 years old, you would have migraine or headache. Why is this? It's not because of genes, it's because of karma. Well, genes are hard to change. Say, for example, you are a Chinese. It doesn't mean that you learn some Russian language and you become a Russian face. The genes will hardly be changed. So if your grandmother has migraines and her sufferings or her affliction hasn't been solved, then the grandchild will have migraine or headache. It is a karma inheritage. It's not a gene inheritage. So when can you be healed? Maybe through your help, she doesn't have that, migraine or affliction anymore, then your migraine will instantly disappear. I'm sure a lot of our friends will have tons of questions, but today it's already 2 hours, our group practice. I think it's a lot already. If you need to pray for your parents, your ancestors, for your parents, or your parents from your past 7 lives, and many lives, many past lives, and your ancestors, and any lives that you have hurt before, the meat that you have eat, like the chicken, duck, or pigs, or spiders that you killed, or like insects that you killed, all these karmas you have to pay back. That's why, well, if you say, oh, you grow some tumor somewhere, maybe it's because you killed some lives, like a spider or something. And in order for you to be healthier and have a better life, you need to help them. Maybe light candles, make offerings. So in the southern Buddhist schools, it is the time to make offerings to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, so that we can receive benefits. I'd like to give everyone an opportunity. As long as you can go to that website, repaying, I will remind you that these candles are very expensive, but it's probably worthwhile to go check it out. Next time, we'll see you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. I wish you all auspiciousness and happy and healthy. I wish all sentient beings who have gone with us will be relieved from sufferings. All the departed souls will be guided to Eastern or Western Pure Land, and you would enjoy a long life as long as the whole world, and will be free from any sufferings, and will be free from the sufferings of the hell and darkness. I hope all the young people will also understand what I teach, and from today on to respect your parents and be filial. Okay, thank you very much.
小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。 让我与您相遇，小小的